Okay, so for this passage it's about mineral identification. So mineral identification, remember we've been doing that? We did it with our gizmo, and all that jazz. So minerals can often be distinguished, so that means like we can tell them apart by their physical properties. So that's what they look like, what they smell like, all of that stuff. In addition to observation of color, tests can be performed to determine the identity of an unknown sample. One mineral test is the test for hardness relative to the Mohs 1 to 10 scale. So remember, that's hardness, their scale of hardness. On this scale, a 1 is represented by talc, the softest mineral, with a 10 being represented by diamond, one of the hardest. It is a comparative scale in which samples are tested against a mineral representation to see if they can scratch or be scratched by a mineral. Other common practices include scratching copper or glass. So remember, that's like a penny. Okay. A streak test involves running the edge of a mineral against an unglazed ceramic tile to determine the color of the mineral in powder form. Some minerals leave different color streaks than the color they appear. We got density. Remember, that's when we did the math. We did D equals mass divided by volume. Density equals mass divided by volume of a mineral can be determined using an overflow can and graduated cylinder. These tools are used to measure the amount of water displaced by the mineral and to establish scale. Okay. So our first question for this passage is, according to the passage, remember that's according to up here, which of the following physical characteristics or properties are used to identify minerals? So remember, according to the passage, so our choices are A, hardness, streak, C, scratch test, D, density, E, mass, F, volume. So what were they talking about in paragraph 1? Great. What about in paragraph 2? Aha! I know that there's one in here that looks confusing. And what about in paragraph 3? So there was one thing that we were measuring. We were using two things, but we were measuring this. This was what the test was for. Now you look at C and it says scratch test, and I'm guessing you could easily be confusing that with something else, but nothing up here was called a scratch test. So we know that C is incorrect.